What's good, ladies and gentlemen? We back with Motor City Lions Talk, Water Cooler Mondays, and I guess that's what we're gonna call it. Keeping the ball rolling and moving, whatever you want to say, and talking about basically the future of the Detroit Lions. Is the season over with yet? Mathematically, no. Injuries do happen in the NFL, and but I think this team is just. It's tough. It's tough right now. I don't believe they're gonna make the playoffs. I think that was my regular prediction. I kind of changed it towards the end, but I thought they would be around 8-8, 7-9. And then I changed it today, make the playoffs. But them not addressing that running game and believing in Eric Ebron has been a big detriment to this team this year. I think those are the two biggest holes in the team, and believing in a rookie and Kenny Galladay. That will help solve some of their deep threat and red zone issues, and hasn't worked out. And that's the one thing about believing in a rookie. Let's start there. That you picked in the fourth or fifth round. I think it was the fourth round, Kenny Galladay. That they're not used to the grind of high level football, and they tend to get injuries like the hamstring injury. And they're just not used to the tempo. And I think that's all it is for Kenny Galladay. I think he's going to be big time. But it's no 100% sure that he's going to develop here and be that number one receiver that most of us thought he could be during training camp. And once we seen him versus Arizona, and that was pretty much it for him. And he got injured, pretty shortly after that. And I just think it's time for the Lions. I said it last night, got a few messages that people that agree with me that they should just tear it down and rebuild it back up for the most part. But, just like the Detroit Pistons, they like to just rebuild on the go. And in football, you can do that. You can plug a couple guys in from the draft and make shift. In NBA, really not that easy, especially when you can't attract those free agents. And that's why I always thought the Pistons should just tear it down, be really, really bad, and go the Sixer route and get a whole bunch of picks and get a whole bunch of good young talent, and then turn it to some veteran talent, or let some of the talent develop. In football, you don't have to do that. You can build on the go. But the Lions have been trying to build on the go for a long time. And I think it's just time to strip it down. Buy Quinn, get your own people in there. And I heard Mike Valente on 97 won a ticket. Some people like him, some people don't like him. He says some really good things. He's really a guy that's objective. And the Lions, chose to take their games off of the radio to another radio station because of him. But he's telling the truth though that Martha Stewart has money to wipe with her butt. Caldwell ain't making nothing but a couple million a year. She can eat them contracts up, and she's swimming in money anyway. So I'm usually not I was not a man of just tearing down the whole coaching staff. But if I'm Bob Quinn and potentially Martha Stewart is way more cutthroat than the old man Ford when he passed, who had a lot of loyalty, I would just cut bait with everybody. The entire coaching staff, and let Bob Quinn bring his own coaching staff in. May it be if he wants to bring Josh McDaniels in and give him another try. I think he's matured enough. You've seen what Sean McVay, a very young head coach, is doing with Jared Goff and the Rams. But I think it's just time. Even Terrell Austin, I love Terrell Austin, but it's just time to bring something new to the Lions. And even if they do some type of epic run and still lose a playoff game, I don't think that's good enough. You got to win a playoff game. And with Aaron Rodgers and getting injured, and basically Sam Bradford getting injured, and the Chicago Bears kind of still not turning that corner yet. Well, I see the corner coming once Trubisky and they get some more offensive weapons coming. They could be a really good football team. But it was your time this year to win a division, have a home playoff game, and they couldn't cut it. And don't like they will cut it and get it done. And therefore, man, you got to move on from some of these guys. You don't want to pay Ziggy Ansah a lot of money. If he can't stay healthy, and he's not making an impact this year. Glover Quinn is a staple. You want to have a veteran staple like that there. But if you're tearing it down, don't you want to have him have an opportunity to win somewhere else, to be honest? That's their decision. Darius Slay, he can be part of the rebuild. No issue. Him and Glover Quinn can be part of the rebuild or the makeshift, because I have no issue with them makeshifting. But I want to be the rebuild from the coaching staff, because it's apparent, switch gears real quick, that the offensive line coach don't know what he's doing. He lost Riley Reef, Larry Warford last year. Both of them are healthy and tearing it up with somewhere else, and strong in the run game, strong in the pass game. So I know people say, oh, he's going DEFCON 10,000. I'm not. I just, I've seen the same script before with the Lions. Caldwell took him as far as he's going to take him, and I'm just being dead honest with that one. I wouldn't bring back Golden Tate. I think he's in the contract year close to it. I want to bring back him. Marvin Jones, depending on how the contract will shift. I would just tear it completely down, man. I understand that you bought TJ Lang here. I don't know how much money. You got 2 young guys, Swanson and Glasgow, I didn't know he was that high amongst the Pro Football Focus, rankings. The left tackle last night did a phenomenal job. You get Taylor Decker back. So I have no problem with keeping the left side of the line. The center, I don't know. But Rick Ragnar and TJ Lang, I don't know how their contracts is, sometimes it take years for offensive line to gel together. That's for them to break down the film and see where they can correct that at in the offseason and what the new coaching staff can do and mold the offensive line with. But I'm pretty sure it's the coaching. The way Caldwell mismanages time, I'll be sitting there looking like, wow. That's similar to what Jim Schwartz used to do. Mismanages the field goal on the goal line or in the red zone last night. Jim Bob Cooter, maybe he's going to say something like Joe Lombardi on the way out that Matthew Stafford is dumb and can't comprehend the playbook, and that's why he has to water down the playbook. That's what Joe Lombardi said about Matthew Stafford on his way out. Maybe Jim Bob Cooter may share some sentiments as well, that he's limited in what he can do and what ingredients he has to make a great offense. Terrell Austin, he's done a phenomenal job, what he's been given, but he's just a casualty of war or a casualty of a big cut. And I just think they need to just tear it all down, Somebody, wrote me today, say they need to get rid of Trey Stafford. Pretty sure that's going to be one expensive trade right now. So I guess you would have to build around him and have to believe in him. And the first thing I would do is work on the run game, because your run game is everything. If you can run the ball and, make a few good throws down the field, it's shown that that could be a successful recipe for a Super Bowl winning team with a great defense and a good special teams as well. And I think that's what they need to get to. I think they need to focus on the run game next year, scrapping all the running backs as well. They all can go. Bringing in new running backs, bring you a veteran in, bring you a young guy in, bring your scat back in, your third down receiving back in, and just do it over again, man. I'm just saying this, if this season doesn't pan out, and I believe it won't, I think it's over with. It was a perfect opportunity, I'll say it again, for these guys to win the division. With Sam Bradford going down, Devin Cook going down, Aaron Rodgers going down, and the Chicago Bears in transition mode, which they look like they might be turning the corner pretty quickly here. And, you couldn't capitalize on it. You couldn't do it. You couldn't get it done. And it's the same old Lions because it's the same old process the Lions been going through. Bob Quinn got to strip it down and build it back up. Can't do it with Martin Mayhew's players for the most part. I thought that, possibly he should have got his own quarterback in here. But I don't think Stafford's that bad. Stafford hasn't been a product of having a good run game. Well, people say, Aaron Rodgers haven't had a good run game. But there's only one Aaron Rodgers around here. It's only one Tom Brady that can make a run game. And then both of those guys have Rodgers has a West Coast system and Brady has that New England system. So the Lions don't have a system, They don't have a system. They don't have go-to plays on certain downs. They just freelance their offense. And they've been like that for years. And they need a coach that's going to bring a system in that's going to work, a fluid system, a system where, Stafford can get the ball out of his hands quick, where he can hand the ball off and have a threat of a play action, and get some receivers in here. You don't need the greatest receivers to thrive in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? You don't need them. You need some receivers that's capable to get downfield or get you a possession receiver, different receivers that contribute in different fashions in your offense. And I think it's just pretty much getting rid of bringing Bob Quinn's own people in. And I think that's what you have to do to turn that corner. Defensive wise, what we bring back in Dominic Sue, I wouldn't be opposed to it for the right dollar amount. And just start back, you got Jared Davis, you got Darius Slay in the secondary, keep Glover Quinn being the veteran, you plug in another safety, you plug in some linebackers, you find you another number 2 cornerback, you find you some pass rushers. It's about just plugging in and making the system that'll work for the Detroit Lions. I'm not here to shit on the Lions or say they suck or they bad. I'm just here to bring the reality to the folks. And just certain things that's not going to work. And Golden Tate has those drops and has those mental lapses too close together. They used to be far apart. Now they're closer together. And it's just about changing the culture and changing the team. That's what it is. You have to change the players. You have to change the coaching staff. You can't keep the old and expect new results. You get the same results coming up short. And I think Bob Quinn is starting to realize that, and hopefully he's trying to realize that, and he has to get Stafford a run game. That's the missing factor, and that's the biggest issue that's been going on with the Detroit Lions since Stafford got there. And before, Stafford got there after Barry Sanders left and after James Stewart was, I believe, the last 1,000-yard rusher, was that there was no run game here. And the run game helps the defense. It helps field position, and helps Stafford to have a threat of play action. And you got to get a coach in here who knows how to run the rock, who knows how to run a power O, who knows how to run good run schemes, who knows how to run an offense, who brings an offensive system in that's capable of working, and capable of being adjusted, and capable of adjusting with the times in the NFL and adjusting with the other coaches. I'm not too worried about the defense because there's a lot of proven defensive coaches in the NFL. And I know Bob Quinn coming from New England, he knows what good defense look like. He knows Harold Austin is a good coordinator. He's going to refill him with a good coordinator. But if he goes in the next year with these same coaches, he's going to get the same results, and he's not going to have a job for too much longer himself. So he has to change some things. He has to move some players, especially Erica Irvine, who drops the ball, who had some drops last night, had a big run, and he's small for a tight end, but he can run, but he didn't make the end zone. Golden Tate, who keep having these mental lapses. Marvin Jones, who finally showed up the last 2 games versus subpar secondaries. It's time to change some things. Time to bring in a new system. You can't change Stafford if that's what y'all gonna say. Makes too much money, but other guys around him you can change, will and deal and trade and start over. And that's what it's got to be. You have to start over, or do make a quick makeshift overhaul. But I don't see that working right now for the Lions. Just changing the culture. You got to change the coaching staff and some players.